It's been a long time, wondering why the summer smells like cinnamon wonder. Feels like it's gone inside.
Give it 2 more minutes.
2 minute countdown. About when I get walking on leather subways, the summer sun, I can't go back to the touch of your skin on my skin. Look away, these signs are backwards. But we were only 15, we're floating through the slipstream. You're with me, we were only 15, we're floating through the slipstream. We were only 15, we're floating through the slipstream. You're with me, we were only 15, we're floating through the
All right, we're going to kick this thing off. Everybody, you ready? Josh is ready. Hopefully the remote people are ready. Hey, remote people. See. All right. All right, guys, can you all hear me okay? All right, we're going to get things going. All right, so welcome to the TMD. TMDs are back, 2018. We're here. So thanks for inviting me to come do that after pitching this crazy idea. So I'm going to get started. If y'all have questions, we'll have some question and answer time at the end. So hopefully y'all bring your question game. So I'm going to do a me in one. So I'm a software test team lead in Birmingham. I love my family. I strum the guitar sometimes. I like to throw the Frisbee. I enjoy bacon. I love you guys. And I've been with Team Daxco for 5 years. So there's me. That's my family, all my kiddos. There's a dog in our future. So that's coming. So my 5-year-old Leah down here, she's asking every day, when are we going to get a dog? So, all right. It's happening. All right. So agenda. So today we are going to define automation, at least in context of what we're talking about. I'm going to talk about some of my automation tools, some things I do to make my life awesome, and we'll have some Q&A time. And if we still have some time, if you guys have any tools y'all think would be helpful to the group, we would love to share those. So we're going to get right in. So automation, the use of computers to control a particular process in order to increase reliability and efficiency. So it's all about how can we make things more reliable, make them more efficient with the use of computers or technology. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. There's lots of different things when you talk about automation. And there's lots of different ways to use automation. So there's certain times when automation can be good and certain times when automation can be bad. So when I think about good automation, I think about a vending machine, right? You put your money in, you hit I-9, you get that big Texas, it drops down, you actually get it. It's yeah, good automation. I didn't need a human and I got to enjoy big Texas. So that's good automation. You think about car manufacturers where we're building the same car over and over. We're putting the door here, we're putting the trunk here, we're putting the steering wheel on this side for the American cars. When we are doing that kind of automation is predictable. It's the same thing. That's good automation. There is bad automation. How many of you have been robocalled for just someone who's not you, right? That is annoying. That is some kind of automation process calling you, right? There are some automation calls that can be pleasant, when your kid's school calls and saying, hey, you need to come pick up your kids, we're closing at 1, or hey, press 1 to confirm this doctor's appointment and we're good to go. Those are the good things, but there's bad kind too. Another thing where it's not beneficial to use, at least automation for the most part, and this is changing as AI continues to get built up, is building relationships, right? I mean, that's not something you can let a computer do, at least right now, for you. So it's not always best to use automation. So consider that when you're implementing these things. So I'm going to cover some tools. Here's how I'm going to cover them. I'm going to talk about the why. Why is this thing that I'm presenting awesome? What? Here's the name, here's the description, and where. Where can we go find that? So you guys can find that. I've also got a My Dexco page that's posted out there with most of the information in these slides, and I can add to it as needed. So hopefully this is helpful. All right, so with these tools that I'm going to present, like think of these as like a toolbox. So I'm going to present a bunch of stuff. These are things I use. That doesn't mean necessarily like you have to use them to like be awesome. There's lots and lots of different tools. These are just the tools I've flocked to and I'm familiar with and I've used in the past. So definitely like think of this as like we're putting some tools in our toolbox that we can go use for other tasks later. So, and on that, we all use different like operating systems, right? Some people have Macs, some people have PCs or Dells or whatever, Toshibas, if that's still a thing, right? So there's different operating systems. So I've got some different tools for different operating systems as well. So hopefully we'll find that useful. So you guys ready? Let's go. All right. Yes. All right. So first one up, Notepad++. So this doesn't seem like, oh, this is a crazy automation tool, but it really is. So if anyone's familiar with this is a great replacement for Notepad on a PC. Why is it awesome? Because there's macros and there's plugins and there's lots of regular expressions. Oh my. This is an open source replacement for Notepad and it has tabs. So if you're used to Chrome and you love like having 20 tabs up, you'll feel right at home. Here's an example of me doing some crazy stuff in Notepad++ using regular expressions. You see on the left-hand side, all those names are like way out of line. Like if you have this like 1,000-page thing, you could definitely go through and backspace all these, but I wrote a quick regular expression. I did a find and replace, and it replaced all that empty space with no spaces. So one example of why this tool is amazing. There are lots more. Okay. All right, Ruby. This is like a programming language, so I'm not going to go in depth on like how to write your first Ruby script or anything, but there's people in this room that can. That guy right there, Joe Black. He knows what he's doing. So with Ruby, this is like a scripting language. If y'all are familiar with the Dexco monitoring service, a lot of that is written in Ruby. Our Dexco like UI automation suite is written in Ruby. That's what we use on the testing team. But you can also use it to do a lot more stuff. So this is just a quick scripting programming language that's pretty low entry. You can do a lot of stuff with. So if you're interested in that, definitely reach out. Like I'm passionate about Ruby and all the things you can do. But I'm not going to go too deep into that. This is a shout out from Meg Houston, who is maybe remote, but she I asked for like some submissions from different people. This is one she submitted. This is scheduledapp.co. So why is this important? Because remembering things in your brain is hard. This is an iOS or Android app. It's used for scheduling things you want to remember in the future. So if you have like, you know, your dad's birthday and you're really bad at forgetting that stuff, you just program it in there. And when his birthday comes or a week out, you can say like, hey, go buy him a present or buy him a new tie or whatever we buy dads nowadays. So this is a cool app to do that, to remember anniversaries, all that stuff. So I'm not sure if it's free or not. This is kind of like a free promo. Go Meg. Way to bring it. All right, next, Zapier. This is Dan Van Fleet. He turned me onto this. So what is this? This is a web app that allows you to automate actions within web apps that you use every day. So there's a lot of Gmail, Google Calendar, like a lot of different like web apps that we use on our everyday basis. It allows us to interact with those. So it's pretty cool. If you do something with it, like definitely share it. Maybe we'll create a Slack room or something, because it'd be awesome to see like with these tools, what you can do with it, and what kind of things you can automate in your own life, your own workflow, all that stuff. All right. Grammarly, Patrick Dial. This is a great one. This is a great, like, install it. It's a Chrome plugin. I think they have it for Firefox as well. And it's a standalone application that you can download, but it's, you know, why do you need this? Because spelling and grammar are hard, right? They're not easy. This definitely helps you. What is it? It's an application and a browser extension that helps with spelling. and good grammar choices. So not only is it like, hey, red squiggly line, that's misspelled. It's like, here's a suggestion on how you can make this sentence better. And I think if you pay money, you get even better suggestions. But I have not done that yet. Maybe someone has, and it's awesome. So Patrick Dial. All right. So that was like a little intro. Those some quick pops here, quick pops there. I'm going to go into the stuff that I'm like really passionate about because I love these things. So who knows what like a text expander is? We got 2 people. All right, awesome. Hopefully I will blow your world. Maybe not. Who knows? All right, so text expanders. These are awesome. Texter for the PC. This is the one I've used the most. Why do you do this? Because it takes things you repetitively type over and over, and it makes them quicker. So what is it? It's a text and script expander. It lets you define text substitution, hot strings and whatnot when triggered, or replace, that is spelled wrong, with a larger piece of text. So let me just show you like a demo of what that looks like. So in testing, we have to put in a lot of fake credit card numbers. And it's the same credit card number over and over again if we're gonna do payment testing. So what I've done over here on the left side, I've got a texter script with a name. I'm hitting tab, I'm hitting down twice, I'm hitting tab again. I type in the credit card number, I'm doing tab, down, down. I'm waiting 100 milliseconds. I hit tab, down, 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 tab. I type in the security code, and then I hit tab, tab, and I can hit enter. I could program it to do that so it automatically submits the payment. But here I just have it manually, automatically doing that. So what this allows me to do is I can go in, I can build this script, I can go up into my first text box, put my cursor there, I can type in CC1, and my trigger is tab. I hit tab, and it fills all that stuff out for me. So it's been really helpful in testing. You can build a lot of really cool stuff if you're into that kind of stuff. Let me turn this down. All right. So Texter for PC. Here's another example of a recent example. So we've got the new add membership workflow. Like I've sat with some of you guys, and you start typing in an email address, and it's got to be perfect and all that stuff. Well, you really don't need that when you're adding members, right? You just need some information so you can get to like the next process state page, which is really hard. And that's really what you want to figure out what the bug is. So this is a quick script which takes whatever's on my clipboard. If you see that like little caret V, that's like control V. So I'm actually pasting what's on my clipboard and then typing out the rest of the stuff to create a member really quick in ops. So this is something like all I'm doing is like pretending like I'm using the keyboard and just doing it really, really fast. So pretty cool, right? Is that cool? Are we wowed yet? No, not yet. That's okay. All right, we'll get there. We'll get there. So this is the wow fact. So I've had Texter for the last 10 years. My job previous and my job here, I have expanded over 23,000 snippets. I've saved 270 hours. Some of that's cheating, but that's like 33 business days of work. So how in the world did you get 33 business days of snippet expansion? Well, we cheated a little bit because I worked at a company where we actually programmed like these AdTran routers. No one knows what that is. That's okay. But it's basically like this huge long, like our snippets were literally like one whole page long. So it was like I was saving like 10 minutes every run. So, but we used it and it was awesome. It saved the company a lot of money. Yes. Yeah, so go Caitlin Baker. When we need to automate the words to say that are professional multiple times, we will use text expanders or Texter for the PC. If you're on Mac, there's also another option. It's called ATEX. This one does cost like $5, but the $5 is well worth it. That lets you do many things. One example, so I like bacon, and sometimes I like to like tell people I like bacon in Slack, and I've got a little BACN. I just type that in, and it automatically pops out some bacon emojis and a yum smiley face. So pretty simple. I've also got like a little Bjorn shortcut. So if anyone has ever tried to type Bjorn's name with the crazy /o, it's not easy, but I did it once, and every time I type in Bjorn, it fixes it for me. So it's a pretty cool, easy way to find things that you don't like doing, like finding that crazy /do and automating it. So how are we tracking? We good? We excited? Do we have some tools that we can walk away with now? A little more excitement. Still no excitement. I got some head nods. Hopefully remote. We're happy. All right. Here we go. Key remapping and shortcuts. So like, what in the world? Why do I want to remap my keys? One, it's really fun to play practical jokes on people. But like, use it with care. Make sure like it's a joke and people don't get angry, or take their computers to IT and ask them to reformat it, because I know that's been done in the past over practical jokes. So Carabiner, this is a tool for the Mac. So why use Carabiner? Because sometimes you just want to remap useless keyboard keys. Who uses their caps lock key? 3 people, 4 people. You use it like for real? Like just when you're angry, you hit it and you just angry? Okay. Well, remapping your caps lock key is the best way to get a new key on your Mac through Carabiner. What that looks like is I've actually remapped my caps lock key to F19, which doesn't exist on my Mac keyboard, but does exist on my little, whatever the white keyboard is that you buy for the Mac. I don't know. It exists. But I basically mapped the F19 key to do like lots of other things, where I can hold down F19 and hit another button, and I've got like all these custom shortcuts that I've got a caps lock key that is not being used anymore. You can also do a lot of stuff with Carabiner, like remap any of your F1 through F12 keys to like change what's up there. So if I don't want volume to be on F12, I can go change that to something more useful. So pro tips for Macs. For Windows or the PC world, auto hotkey. So this is not like an app that you can open and you've got these nice selectors. It's more of a programming language that's pretty easy to use and get going. Sometimes you want to remap your keys on a Windows machine. You can also create macros and automation software that allows users to automate repetitive tasks. So AutoHotkey, which is where you find that. I'm going to show you all some cool stuff that you can do with it that I've used in the past. So here's an example of what like an AutoHotkey script would look like. If you see the 1::run gmail.com, what that would do is it'd remap my 1 key. So anytime I hit 1, it's going to just open up gmail.com in my default browser. So pretty straightforward. Like you could write that code or copy and paste it. Like it's good. 2 here would just run this executable that I have on my hard drive, on the C drive under DeLorean EXE. And here I've mapped caps lock to my control key. So I don't have like an F19 on Windows, but I can actually have another control key. So that's one way to do it. But you'll hold on. It's about to get awesome. So this is something hopefully like people that work in Salesforce a lot will find useful, and you could get going pretty easy. I've written some code, and basically what I've done is I can hold down Alt. That's what this exclamation 1 is, holding down Alt and 1. If I do that key combination, it's going to run salesforce.com and then paste whatever is in my clipboard into the search string. Okay, so demo time. We're going to hop over to Windows. As I get logged in, maybe. It's coming. This was working. All right. Come on, welcome. Wrong password. There it is. All right. So I've got this AutoHotkey script. So this is actually the script that's running. We're focused up here. And I'm going to run this script, which was what's going to look like. This is the script file. Oh, it's actually already running. So if I come look down here, there it's running. So I'm going to pull up. I don't have to pull up a browser, but I'm going to type something in here. So what do we want to search for in Salesforce? Anybody? Any takers? Steve. All right. So I'm going to copy that. It's copied to my clipboard. And I'm going to hold down Alt and hit 1. and it's going to search for Steve once I get logged in. So it's going to take a while, probably because there's a lot of Steves in the system. I realized when I typed test, it took a really long time. First hit was Josh's test ticket out there from 2015. So, hey, we searched for Steve. So think about this. Somebody slacks you a case number. Control copy, Alt 1. It's going to search for that in Salesforce. Pretty rad, right? Yeah, it is. All right, so script number 2. Alt plus 2, what this will do is it will search for something highlighted in Salesforce. So let's say like you are in Slack and you don't want to copy and paste it. You're just like, I want to go to this case. So I'm highlighted over it, no copying, no pasting. I'm going to hit Alt 2. It's going to copy that to my clipboard. It's going to search for it. Bam, we're there. Pretty awesome, right? Is this useful? Is this useful? Okay. There's no cheers. I'm just used to like little children like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm also doing like Minecraft demos. So yeah, this is less awesome. All right. So we're feeling like hackers, right? We can take over the world, like for real. So I'm going to swap over. We've got some more scripts, but we're going to like tie some things together. So this is not a text expander. This is more of like a quick search tool. Alfred. Who uses Alfred or Spotlight or something like it? Okay, about half the room. That's exciting. So why use this thing? Because Control or Command Space is your new favorite shortcut to search websites, do math, or open programs quickly. What is it? It's a utility designed to help you forget about your start menu, the icons on your desktop, and even your file manager, and your mouse. So you can kind of ditch some of your mouse action, which is exciting. Matt Davis and Joel Black, they're big proponents of this. They kind of came up and were like, hey, you're going to talk about this? And I'm like, yes, I am. So here, I will show you what that looks like and some of the power behind it after this. If you're on Windows and you don't have access to Alfred, there's this awesome thing called Launchy. It's for PC. I think it actually works on the Mac now, but I've never used it on the Mac. But what this will do is it'll turn Alt space into basically Alfred. It's going to pull up a shortcut that you can actually type stuff in, search, do math. You can open up common spreadsheets if you want to map those out, and it's very powerful. So, demo. I'm going to show you how to use Launchy and Salesforce together. So that whole Alt 1 or Alt 2 where I have like something I want to look up, let's say like you're not that fast, you don't want to like be that mysterious or whatever. You can use Launchy to help you with that. So Launchy for me is Alt space, and what I can do is I've built in like a Salesforce lookup. I've tied it to SF. I can hit Tab, and I can type in whatever I want to search for. So we'll look for Steve again. I hit Enter, and it automatically searches Salesforce for me. So if you're ever like in Slack or you're somewhere else, not on a web browser, and you want to look up something really quickly, it's really quick to do an Alt space and then work your magic and go to town. So it's pretty cool. You don't have to be bound to Salesforce. So I've got one for Jira, not set up here, but you could do the same thing. I'm going to show you how to configure that for any website you'd want to. So if you go open up the preferences for Launchy, let's click in this little gear once you've got it installed, and go to plugins. The plugin that uses this is called Webby. This is installed by default, so everything's there, and there's actually a bunch of default stuff here as well. So if you want to look up dictionary words, you've actually already got a dictionary call where I could just go here, type in dictionary tab, and say, hello. What does hello mean? It's going to look it up at dictionary.com. So there's a lot of patterns to follow, and I'm going to show you the one I set up for Salesforce. So scrolling down, all I did was add a new name. I called it SF because that's really fast, and the S and F keys are really close together, and it's for Salesforce, right? I pasted the URL that I got from Salesforce from just like a normal search, and I inspected like, what does it look like when I do like a normal search? So like, I'll show you what it looks like on the website. So it's going to add all these like web parameters. So this is like tinkering a little bit with like the URL that's generated when you do an in-app feature. And I noticed like, hey, this is actually what I searched for. Like, maybe that's all we need. So I took out some of this other stuff, which some of this other stuff, like, it hides things. It just gives you a different view. But if I were to like take that out, it's all the way to the question mark. It still worked. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to use that as my base. So what I did is I copied from this question mark to the beginning. I copied that over. I pasted that in here. And the way that Launchy knows to like whatever after a tab to paste that in there or to like connect it up is through this %1. So that basically says take anything after tab and put it in the URL. So I pasted that in here and then I added a %1. And if you're curious on like how I came to that conclusion, it was just a matter of going to the Launchy website, reading the documentation, and it's there. It's pretty clear. So Google Maps, you could set that up, or whatever map application you want. Jira is another one. Maybe there's some other tools that we use that we could do this pretty easily that you could set up on your own. So that is how to do Salesforce and Launchy. So here's further integrating AutoHotkey. So let's say we want to like tie all of this together. The way we're going to do that is we're going to remap our F6 key because that's like the make my keyboard bright, and I don't ever need to make my keyboard bright. We're going to remap that to send an alt space, which is going to open up Launchy. It's going to then send an SF tab, and it's going to be ready for me to type in whatever to search in Salesforce. So this is like your own search bar that can be anywhere on your computer. So pretty simple. So I've got my macro running already. So all I have to do is hit F6. Boom. It's there. So you basically can have a hotkey to search Salesforce really easily. Pretty awesome. Got a few head nods. Oh yeah. Yeah. So here's another cool thing about Launchy. Like I find myself a lot, and maybe this isn't you, maybe I just like to copy and paste a lot of things. I find myself in need of a place to just like type something that I want to copy to like put in Slack or something, and I don't know. So alt space has been a great place to just type something, copy it, and then I can go paste it wherever I want to. That's just a little side pro tip, a little extra. So the next thing, you can also do this for opening up programs. So I've actually launched, I'm going to close this so y'all can see it work, but I've set up F7 key, which is my go backwards on a song key. Like I don't need that. I'm only going forward here. I've set that up to open up Notepad++. So I just hit a button, bam. I've got my Notepad++. I can go type stuff. It can be Evernote. It can be like whatever I want to use to like get to quickly. So pretty cool. Yeah. Fist bump with robots. Cool. So that is like the bulk of my presentation, but I will say like getting started with this stuff, you may feel like this, and that's okay. Like we're really excited. We're going to go do all the things and change everything, and it's going to work, but it's not, and that's okay. Getting this stuff, like I've been setting up with these workflows for 6-7 years, so it's like brain knowledge right now. Like I don't even have to think about it. So as you start to try out a new tool, try not to get frustrated. Just keep smiling, keep trying to do your hula hooping, and it'll be good. And reach out. Like if you've got questions or you need help with something, you're at a stuck point, like definitely reach out. Like I'm available. I'm really passionate and I love helping people. So we've also got a My Dexco page. If you search for automate all the things, you will find it. And that's where this presentation will probably live as well, but there's also like the links to all the stuff I've talked about. I'll also go and upload the AutoHotkey script that I built, and I'll just post it out there so y'all can have access to that. Y'all can hack on it, do whatever. Hacking is really just like manipulating other people's code, and it doesn't have to be pretty as long as it works, because it's just for you. It's not going to production. So one other thing. So this is called like automate all the things, but the more I thought about it, like we're not going to automate everything, but let's automate more things in our lives. I think we can definitely save time, save Daxco money, make our lives more productive by just taking some time, thinking about what are some things that I can make quicker. It may take an hour or 2 hours to get set up on the front end, but 8 months later, like you've made that big time. So automate more things. That's my challenge to you guys as y'all walk out of the room and like go bang your head, because some of this stuff is hard, but reach out and we will be altogether better. That's a good plug. So questions? No questions. Crystal clear. Yes, Beth. Yes. So Beth asked a very important question that Steve Kaminsky would be very happy with. And that is, are any of these programs or apps, would they be security risks? So I would say if it talks to the internet, maybe Grammarly is out there. Most of the other ones are just working off your local machine and it's you giving input. So it's not a lot of syncing. Grammarly is probably the closest, but from what I can tell, it's just, I can't tell you a definitive answer, but there are other things that I use that I would say you might not want to, but it's also being a good steward of your web browser and not going to places that you shouldn't, or clicking on things you shouldn't in your email, stuff like that. So don't do that. Any other questions? Yes, Adam. Can you rebind key combinations? Yes. You can do, yes. So in AutoHotkey, you can, I don't know if it's rebinding, but it's overriding key presses. So if you wanted to make Control C, Control V, and really mess people up, you could. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So Adam was saying instead of picking an F6, which is F7 that's backwards, at least on mine, you don't want to mess up your music playlist. You really like that song. Adam did. So you could program a Control Alt Shift, some crazy click, and then a button to take you to whatever program, and you could actually remap all of those things to a caps lock key. So it'd just be caps lock Y or caps lock W or whatever. Yep. Yep. So you can also do that with Carabiner, and if you want more information on it, Google Hyperkey for the keyboard. What else y'all got? Yes. Well, okay. So Patrick was asking how he could quickly find people that aren't in his Slack to talk to very quickly, and is there a way to automate that? There probably is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I will say looking at Slack, looking at the file menu and just looking through at all the different options and keyboard shortcuts that go with that. I know Command K for the Mac is an awesome search finder that will basically just pull up anybody. And if you want to start a new conversation, you could type Adam real quick, hit enter, and you could just start typing. So there are ways to make that with no clicks, but it's, open up Slack and then do that. So there might be, I'd have to investigate. There probably is. Yeah. We'd have to think about that. So AutoHotkey is actually what binds that together. I'm sure there's a way to do it. It's just a matter of you might have to get into Apple script and stuff like that, which it's ugly. I've done it before, but it's bad. It's not straightforward. We can help solve those problems though. If you're like, hey, we've got this problem, how do we do it? Like, we can come up with a creative solution to do that. I can help you with that. We'll figure it out. Cool. What other questions do you guys have? Any remote questions? Nope, no remote questions. Yes. What are things I use in my personal life? I love deals. So slickdeals.net, if you've ever seen that, that's awesome. They've got an app, and when I'm like looking for AA batteries, because my kids go through a lot of them. There are certain times I buy way too many because I buy them in bulk, but there's some times where it's like right now we have like 4 working ones and they're all in like Xbox controllers. So what I'll do is I'll set up deal alerts there, and it'll ping my phone or send me an email to say like, hey, there's this thing was posted with so many like thumbs ups. So that's one way I use automation. I'm sure there's other ways. Just using the keyboard and using shortcuts and taking screenshots. Like, I've got shortcuts for a lot of that stuff. I didn't want to like throw too much information, like, because I could like fire hose you. You probably have enough for like a whole nother one of these. So I didn't want to like go crazy, but that is one specific way I do that makes me happy. That being said, how about you guys? What does the rest of the room use in automation? And if you'd like to talk about it, you can come up to the mic and wave at people and be all nervous. Anybody? Any takers? Here's the format. It's pretty easy. Patrick, we got a taker.
So we all hate spam in our email, right? Anybody ever heard of unroll.me? Got 3 or 4. So it's a little app for your mobile device, and it hooks into your Gmail account. So Beth, you're gonna have to give them access to your email account. But if it hooks into your Gmail account or whatever else, basically you own your phone when you're just bored, like we all tend to be at random moments. So today we're looking at our phone. It says, hey, I found 360 something subscriptions that you have. What do you want me to do with this? Every time it comes in, you want to just like unsubscribe and send it to the trash. You never see it. No harm, no foul. You want me to like roll it up into like a daily email so you can see a batch of like all your daily deals. It just comes in one single email and you get that. Or do you want some for me not to do anything with because you want to see them as part of your normal like inbox? And so it's like really fast. Do that like with your thumb. It's like swipe left, like send it to your trash, swipe right to keep it, swipe up to put it in a roll up. And so like my email inbox is like super clear, even though I'm like subscribed to every little kind of thing you can think of on the internet. And it's through your mobile device. You hook it into your Gmail and it makes like your daily checking your Gmail or whatever else I guess your personal email account is. Maybe it does something besides Gmail, like really clean. That just kind of happens behind the scenes and I never see it. So go ahead and you can go in there every once in a while and kind of like, if you unsubscribe from something and you changed your mind, now you care about something, you can kind of put it back in the certain pot. But anyway, I use that. It's pretty cool. Super helpful. Unroll.me.
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 Who's next? Is that Cynthia? Are you coming up or are you going to the bathroom? All right.
If you have an Android phone and if you have an older operating system and you wanted to automate how your Wi-Fi needs to turn on when you're closer to your home, your volume needs to go up when you're at your home, or when you come to office, you want to turn down, put it in silent mode and things like that. This was an app that I used like 3 or 4 years ago when Android didn't have all those built in. It's called Tasker. If you want to go check. I think it's still in the App Store. I don't know if there's a newer, better software, but that was one of the best that I used to keep those things automated. That's one of the reasons why I use Android too, because iPhone would not allow that much of control on your phone. So pretty handy when it comes to like changing settings. For example, if I'm closer to the office, it picks up on the cell tower that I'm close to and knows that I'm close to the office and turns on Wi-Fi. And when I get into the office, it connects to the public network over here, and so things like that. A lot of things that you can do with it. That is just one example. That's it.
Joel's coming up.
So there's a plugin for Chrome particularly, but I think it's on Firefox as well. It's called Vimium. And so one of the things I like about it, so I really like trying to use like just my keyboard and try to not use my mouse like at all. And so to try to deter that, I've actually hidden my mouse like under in my cabinet, and so then only use the touchpad because it's awful. But with Vimium, what that does is you can use it to like navigate web pages and stuff, like just any sort of browsing that you're going to do. So like you hit the letter F, and everything that's a link or a button on the page will highlight with like another key, and you just type that key to click that link. Or you can go back, you can swap between tabs. It's just been like a nice way to just kind of browse around with, and just keeping your hands literally just on a comfortable thing on your home row keys. Okay.
Who's next? I thought of another one for you, Katie. So I've got this fancy gaming mouse. It's got like 6 nice buttons here. So I've actually mapped some of my buttons to do like fun emojis in like video games. It sounds crazy, but it's awesome because like things that like take like, I don't know, 30 seconds to type, Justin, you know, like I can just hit a button and it's like, you've got a bunch of skull and crossbones and it's like, I just died. Sorry, guys. And it's good. Oh, I have a salty one too. It's like some salt shakers of the Y, and it's great. It's good team camaraderie stuff. So, you got one, Justin?
Hopefully, you're all already aware of this, but I didn't use them when I first started here. It took me a while. One is using rules in your Outlook. So filter out all those junk emails you never want to see in your inbox. Push them over by like a certain person's email address or by a certain subject or all that kind of stuff. You should know that, hopefully. And then the other one, of course, is LastPass, which is mildly risky, Beth, if you're into security things. Just storing a lot of passwords for a bunch of random websites that you don't want to keep in your brain. And you don't have to type out every time. You just go to that web page and it's already logged in there for you. You just hit enter and you're in there. LastPass.
So on the note of password managers, if you're afraid of LastPass or 1Password, there's an open source one called KeePass, and it just stores locally or Dropbox or whatever, so you can kind of keep all of your passwords encrypted without giving them out to the world. Another one is like, it's not another tool, but it's just another usage of Alfred. So like if you do use Alfred or if you're interested in it, you can do some really complex things with it, like build what they call workflows. And so for instance, like an example for me, like as a developer, like if I am like context switching and I need to go like spin up like Impact Hub, which is just an app that we have, I can literally just type that into Alfred and I have it set up where it will open on my terminal, navigate to that directory, open it up in Visual Studio Code, which is my editor, and then also open the browser to that local address and other documentation. I mean, you can just like pile on the number of things it can do just by typing one word. And it's like really nice. Because then, yeah, I don't know. Otherwise, that's going to take me, 5-10 minutes to just get set up, just to get my mind back into that, and one word and I'm there. So anyway.
Yeah. Go Alfred. Anybody else? So here, I will try to read this down here. Getting crazy here. They make this difficult for a reason. All right. So Chicago says, coding IDs like VS Code have the concept of snippets, which will template out block code being similar phrases. Then you just fill out the variables in the templates, find community snippets and VS Code plugin store. So if you're working in VS Code, check that out. Snippets. I know those are pretty common in IDEs. If you're writing code a lot, you should definitely check those out. Cool. I think that's all I've got. So thank you guys for coming. If you guys need help with like anything getting set up, I'm going to be off like the whole next week, so don't bother me. But starting like the end of next week, I'll be around. Slack me, hit me up. We'll get you set up. Bye.